everyone, Jen here. Welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. I'm doing something that I'm fairly certain I've never done for my channel. In fact, I've only ever built a penthouse one other time, and that was probably shortly after or within a year or two of City Living coming out that I built a penthouse. And it was more of a remodel of one of the City Living penthouses that was already there. And again, I don't think I ever did a video for it. I was just redoing the penthouse just for me to play with. This would have been probably would it have been well before I started my channel? I'm not even sure now. I don't even remember when City Living came out. That was a while ago. Anyways, point is, if I have attempted a penthouse for my channel before, it would have only been one other time. So this is definitely something different for me. Penthouses really aren't special in that you don't get anything special for the lot or anything like that. It really is just a regular single family house lot on top of a neighborhood decoration that looks like a giant building. So it really isn't anything super special except the view that you get. And so I thought, you know what? We've got two worlds now that give us penthouses. Like, I'm planning on doing this entire save file where I will probably redo the penthouses and stuff. I might as well just stop procrastinating and start trying to attempt some of these penthouses. Much like mansions, I am very intimidated by penthouses because they're supposed to be, for the most part, with some exceptions, they're supposed to be these big, extravagant, not really apartments, but houses in the sky, and I don't know, really fancy and everything, and it's just really intimidating. I'm good at small. I'm good at casual. I'm good at easy to decorate. I'm not good at fancy or extravagant or big houses. So, but are you ever gonna get any better if you don't try, right? So I thought, let's just give it a try and see what happens. Now, it did end up as a one-bedroom house, but it's not cheap. It's actually really expensive. It ends up coming in somewhere around 60,000 simoleons, I think. And yeah, it's not overly huge. There isn't a lot of room, but I think I did pretty good at breaking the space up and giving each need, dining, kitchen, cooking, living room, bedroom, bathroom, and then outdoor space a fairly good amount of space for each thing. There even is a pool and the little grassy area. Well, it's not grassy yet, but there will be a little grassy area at the back in that weird corner area in the back for pets. So it's got it all covered basically. There's some green area in the front. Right now I'm just trying to figure out the placement of the elevator and stuff. Right before moving that elevator, you can't tell, but there's a cut there, and I actually almost scrapped this build because just looking at it like this, it looks terrible. And so I almost scrapped this build and started over. But then I decided to come back and see what I could make of it. And that's when I started trying to place the elevator and stuff. I end up messing around with that elevator area a lot before I finally settle on exactly how I want that area to look and function. So how it looks and functions now is not anything remotely like what it's going to be in the end, although it does stay in that same spot. So, and I guess I do keep some of the features sort of similar. You'll have to wait and see. I was very nervous about that railing around the edge. Right now, it's slightly higher than fence or like stair rail height. But later on, I go back and I make it even higher yet because I have such a severe fear of heights that even looking at this triggered it at times. So the railing on the outside areas made me so nervous that I had to keep raising it up higher and higher until I felt comfortable that no one probably could fall over the edge if it was a real life place, you know what I mean? So here I am just adding a little pool, nothing huge. Again, it's a 1-bedroom house, so it's meant for like a single sim or a couple, and they have, they don't need a lot of space for everything. They don't need a huge swimming pool. They don't need a huge green grassy area. They don't need a ton of space. There is more space there than it looks, and you'll see in a minute how much more space there is there than it actually looks like there is. But they don't need a ton of space because it's just the two of them and maybe a couple of friends over every now and then for entertaining and stuff like that, you know? So I tried to kind of keep that in mind as I was doing this also. Is it just me or does this particular penthouse lot feel kind of small? It feels kind of small to me. Maybe it wasn't meant to have any outside space. Maybe it was truly meant to fill up the entire space as a whole building. I don't know. It does feel kind of small though. It is perfect for a 1-bedroom house with some outdoor space. Also, is it weird to have the elevator on the outside of the building, like exit outside to the elements? Is that weird? I feel like maybe it's kind of weird, but if I'm not mistaken, that's how the original build on this lot was as well, was the elevator on the outside. So maybe it's not that weird. Maybe it's fairly normal, especially in a place, in a warm weather place like this. Maybe it's normal. I don't know. I think it would be weird up here in the north. I don't think that there are a lot of places where we'd have an elevator exit outside, even to a penthouse, because we have a lot of cold, snowy weather. I think that would be weird. Decorating this front outdoor space was probably the most difficult I had in decorating of the whole build. And you can see a lot of funny cuts in here because I kept having to stop and just really think about how I wanted to do this. I wanted to fit so much stuff in there. It's bigger than it looks, and you really can fit more stuff in there than you think you can, but it's not huge. So you do have to think, also with the front door being right there, you do have to kind of think about what you're putting where as well. So I did struggle with this part quite a bit. Actually, looking at it now, right here in this moment, I'm thinking the bigger struggle was just that it was an awkward space. Not that I couldn't get anything to fit, because obviously everything fits just fine. It's that it was an awkward space and I didn't know how to get it to fit in that awkwardness, is what my bigger issue was, I think. Looking at it. And isn't that weird how you can be making a build and you see it one way, but then you watch it back, like say you're recording or something, like in this case, and you watch it back on the video footage and it looks completely different to you. You know, that would be, other than doing like some kind of random house generator thing, I would tell you, if you're struggling with building, just record yourself. You record yourself and you speed that footage up, like, I don't know, a few times. Not too much though, just enough that you don't have to sit there for 3 hours watching it. You know, speed it up so that it's like a 20-minute video or whatever, and then watch it, and you will get a completely different perspective on your build than when you were actually building it. That would be my suggestion to people who are struggling to build. Try that once. Look at your build as if you're watching a video. It does really give you a different perspective. So about those trees, since we're here on the landscaping part, I don't think they really fit into this world that well, and I'm sorry. But they were the only trees that kind of came in a raised planter thing that weren't overly huge, that kind of fit what I was going for. So I used them all over, and I think they're great. I don't ever remember seeing them in the game before. Now that I've seen them, I will probably use them a lot. So this little back corner here, this is, did I mention this in the beginning of the video? That's the little pet area for like a dog or whatever. I'm not sure if sim dogs can be trained to go to one specific yard to go to the bathroom, but if they can, you could like lock the front door or something too, and only let them go outside in that back area, and then the dog mess is all in the backyard and it's not like around the pool and stuff. That's what I put that back there for. Initially, I was thinking we need this little back corner. I'm not 100% sure what for yet. Maybe pets. And then as everything took shape a little bit more, then it became a little more solidified in my head. Yes, this is a pet spot. This is where we would put Doggo out to go potty at. If I was living here, that is definitely where I would keep the dog potty at. The kitchen gave me some trouble as well. This island specifically gave me almost as much trouble as doing that front like patio area did. And then I could not get the chairs to work. They would not snap all the time. It was driving me absolutely bananas. I think, okay, we probably go through several different let's figure this out first, and then I give up and I'm like, okay, we'll fit a dining room table in somewhere, somehow. You know, though, from the point of moving the elevator around and trying to find a spot for the elevator initially, to finishing this kitchen, with all the struggles that I had with some of these more awkward, tighter spaces, I still was doing fairly good. Like, this wasn't even 2 hours worth of footage. Typically, builds can take me like 3-4 hours. This part of the footage only took, from here to this point, only took maybe an hour and a half at the most. So I actually was speeding through it quite fast, despite my struggles. I guess once I just got into it, it just flowed, no problem-ish, other than figuring out those awkward spots where it was hard to get furniture to fit in. Not really fit in, because there's obviously plenty of space in these rooms, but like, fit in an awkward space. You know what I mean? Like, this is kind of an awkward space too. There's plenty of room here. It's just a weird space with the little hallway for the bathroom and bedroom door, and then the back door being right there. It makes it a weirdly awkward space. This is the part where I really struggled to get the bar stools to snap. They just, on that one, would not do it at all. So I gave up. I'm like, we'll put a dining table in here somewhere too. There's plenty of room for a dining table, trust me. You will see in a minute. Like I said, I think it was less about there not being enough space for anything and more about the awkward spaces that I created with my weird little build more than anything else. So here we are in the living room. And I'm thinking at this point, do I build in a weird way? Like, do I decorate in a weird way? Sometimes I'll start in the bedroom, or I'll start in the backyard, or something random like that. Is that weird? Do most people start like in the living room and work their way around the major rooms of the house? Then they do the outside. That seems like the more logical way to do it. But me, I usually start in a random small area, like a smaller bedroom, or where did I start decorating this one? I think the elevator area was the first area that I started to decorate and then moved on from that. I don't, I feel like that's weird, but that's just the way it is. Also, during one of my live streams, I was talking about how at some point along the way, I used to only build and decorate with the grid on. I could not do it without the grid. And so I used to only ever do it with the grid on, but I started watching other people's build videos, and everyone started talking about how they hated having the grid on. It was annoying, blah blah blah. So I started trying to build without the grid on. Well, not build. I should say I started trying to furnish and decorate without the grid on. And over time, like over a long period of time, I got more and more used to it to the point where now if the grid is on and I become consciously aware, like I notice it, then I have to turn the grid off. Otherwise, it bothers me. It makes it hard to focus on what I'm decorating or whatever at that moment. But I used to be that I used to have the grid on. Because I have to have everything lined up, if I don't, I can see when things aren't lined up perfectly, and it bugs me. Like, you may not have noticed, but that couch, coffee table, and TV stand are not perfectly lined up with each other. And that bothered me when I first noticed it, but I was not feeling great by the time I got to that point in the build. I had made the choice to listen to music, and music, I don't know, I'm a weirdo. I have a very strong emotional reaction to listening to music, and it was a mistake to do that while I was working on this. So at that point, it was like, you know what, I don't even care. Probably nobody else can see it but me, anyways. But that's why I used to only ever build with the grid on, because I could see when things weren't perfectly lined up like that. The end tables are not perfectly lined up with each other, but you can't see it because the grid's not on, but I know because I can see it. Even without the grid on, I can see those tiny little areas where things aren't perfectly aligned with each other. I'm very in tune to it for some reason, and it really bothers me. But on this one, I didn't, like, it was like I don't even care at this point. Like I said, I made the mistake of turning some music on because I was bored, and my brain needs to be doing multiple things at once, and that was a mistake because music tends to make me incredibly emotional. And so I ended up struggling through the rest of this build. But yeah, the only thing we have left after this is the bathroom anyways, and I still tried to do my best despite the issues that I was having. I was having a complete breakdown at this point, let me put it that way. In fact, from the point of starting to decorate the living room to the rest of the end of this speed build, this portion of the video is sped up even faster than the first half of the video because I was in such an emotional state that I was moving so slowly that I had to speed this portion of the video up just to match the rate of the first portion of the video. So making sure items were perfectly aligned didn't really matter to me at that point, but I have been starting to use the grid more and more again because it bothers me when things are not perfectly aligned. Anyways, we're pretty much done with the speed build now, so let's go ahead and get into that little walk through. This is just the last little piece of the bathroom, and there we go. Okay, so here is the little elevator area, mailbox, trash chute. It's kind of got a little block here so that if like the mailman is up here delivering mail or whatever, they're not just like peeking into your yard. I thought, that'd be a good thing to have right there. We've got this little awkward space I wasn't sure what to do with, so I just stuck a couple of trees there. Then we've got the grill out here with a dining spot and the like an outdoor living room spot. Then we have the little pool, cute little rounded pool, some green area for lounging or whatever. Then, if we go in the front door, you enter into, I guess, a dining space with some books, a little seating area with a TV, little desk area there, big, fairly good sized kitchen here, little hallway, tiny bathroom, but that's okay. You don't need anything too huge since it's a 1 bedroom house. And then if you go back here, you have another little seating area so you can be out here with your dogs or dog or whatever. And then this is the little potty area for the dogs. I thought the dogs might like to have a couple of trees as well. And there you have it. It's not huge, but it's nice. At least I think so. I think it turned out really nice. I'd like to live in this little house. And I mean, if you were a sim, that view would be awesome. Look at that. I would love to have a view like that if I were a sim, I think it's pretty cool. So, if you enjoyed this video, if you're enjoying my channel, if you enjoyed this build, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!